Good morning and welcome to today's New York City Council hearing for the Subcommittee on Zoning and Franchise. At this time, please silence all electronic devices. Just a reminder, no one may approach a dais at any point during this hearing. Chair Riley, we are ready to begin.
Good morning and welcome to a meeting of the Subcommittee on Zoning and Franchises. I am Councilmember Kevin Riley, Chair of the Subcommittee. I am joined today by Councilmember Abreu, Hanks, Shulman, Carr, Menon. Today we are scheduled to hold 2 hearings and 5 votes. Starting with the 2 hearings, the first one concerns the special permits being sought by the applicant proposing the 135th Street rezoning project, which we heard last week. The second hearing concerns a sidewalk cafe application by Ses Vecinos, which is located in the South Bronx. Turning to the proposal that we will vote on today, the first application concerns the expansion of Memorial Sloan Kettering on the Upper East Side. The second and third vote concerns sidewalk cafe applications, one known as Cozy Corner, and the other is Ses Vecinos, for which we will first hold a hearing. The fourth vote concerns an office and industrial building proposal known as 150 Mill Street in Gowanus Industrial Business District. The fifth and last vote concerns a mixed-use residential development known as the 2390 McDonald Avenue in Gravesend, Brooklyn. I will now go over the hearing procedures. We've also been joined remotely by Councilmember Moyer. This meeting is being held in hybrid format. Members of the public who wish to testify may testify in person or through Zoom. Members of the public wishing to testify remotely may register by visiting the New York City Council website at www.council.nyc.gov/landuse to sign up, and for those of you here in person, please see one of the sergeants at arms to prepare and submit a speaker's card. Members of the public may also view a live stream broadcast of this meeting at the Council's website. When you are called to testify before the subcommittee, if you are joining us remotely, you will remain muted until recognized by myself to speak. When you are recognized, your microphone will be unmuted. Please take a moment to check your device and confirm that your mic is on before you begin speaking. We will limit public testimony to 2 minutes per witness. If you have additional testimony you would like the subcommittee to consider, or if you have written testimony you would like to submit, instead of appearing in person, please email it to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. Written testimony may be submitted up to 3 days after the hearing is closed. Please indicate the LU number and or the project name in the subject line of your email. We request that the witnesses joining us remotely remain in the meeting until excused by myself, as council members may have questions. Lastly, for everyone attending today's meeting, this is a government proceeding and decorum must be observed at all times. Members of the public are asked not to speak during the meeting unless you are testifying. The witness table is reserved for people who are called to testify, and no video recording or photography is allowed from the witness table. Further, members of the public may not present audio or video recordings as testimony, but may submit transcripts of such recording to the Sergeant at Arms for inclusion in the hearing record. We've been also joined by Councilmember Aviles. I will now open the 4th public hearing on LU 154 relating to the Ses Vecinos Sidewalk Cafe application in Chair Salamanca's district. The application seeks to operate a sidewalk cafe with approximately 19 tables and 16 seats at an existing establishment in the South Bronx. Chair Salamanca has confirmed that he is in support of this application. For anyone wishing to testify on these items remotely, if you have not already done so, you must register online, and you may do that now by visiting the council's website at council.nyc.gov/land use. And once again, for anyone with us in person, please see one of the sergeants to prepare and submit a speaker's card. If you prefer to submit written testimony, you can always do so by emailing it to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. Councilors, are there any members of the public who wish to testify regarding the special permit application relating to the CS Vecinos Sidewalk Cafe application, remotely or in person?
No, Chair, and I'll just make one correction that, apologies, but it's not a special permit application, it's a sidewalk cafe application, just for the record to be clear. And we may proceed with closing this hearing.
Thank you. For members of the public here to testify, please note that the witnesses will generally be called in panels of 3. Oh, sorry. Counsel, you said we could close it. Excuse me. There being no members of the public who wish to testify on LU 154 regarding the CES Vecinos Sidewalk Cafe application, the public hearing is now closed. I will now open the first public hearing on LUs 151 and 152 relating to the 135th Street rezoning proposal in Councilmember Abreu's district in Manhattanville. These two applications are part of the larger proposal that seeks to develop a residential mixed-use building just south of Riverbank State Park and will have approximately 60 apartments. The rezoning would involve the mapping of the mandatory inclusionary housing, and as a result, part of the new housing will be affordable apartments. Last week, we held a public hearing regarding the proposed rezoning and mapping of MIH. The purpose of the second hearing today is to hear any comments regarding the special permit that the applicant is seeking. For anyone wishing to testify on these items remotely, if you have not already done so, you must register online, and you may do that now by visiting the council's website at council.nyc.gov/land use. And once again, for anyone with us in person, please see one of the sergeants to prepare and submit a speaker's card. If you prefer to submit written testimony, you can always do so by emailing it to landusetestimony@council.nyc.gov. Council, are there any members of the public who wish to testify remotely or in person regarding the special permit application relating to 135th Street rezoning proposal?
Yes, Chair, we have 3 people who are online who would like to testify.
For the members of the public here to testify, please note that witnesses will generally be called in panels of 3. If you are a member of the public sign up to testify on the proposal, please stand by when you hear your name being called and prepare to speak when I say that you may begin. Please also note that once all panelists in your group have completed their testimony, if remotely, you will be removed from the meeting as a group, and the next group of speakers will be introduced. Once removed, participants may continue to view live stream broadcasts of this hearing on the council's website. Members of the public will be given 2 minutes to speak. Please do not begin until the Sergeant at Arms has started the clock. Please start wrapping up once the Sergeant at Arms indicates that your time has been finished. The following individuals who sign up to testify should now come to the witness table or online. It's just online, excuse me. The first panel is Barry Weinberg, Basha Nicorono, and Gabriel Ortiz. I will begin first with Barry Weinberg.
Starting time.
Barry Weinberg, are you there?
Are you able to enable my video?
Can we enable his video? We can hear you.
Okay. I will just proceed then, and if you enable my video, let me know. Good morning, and thank you to the council members present, including Aviles, Hanks, Schulman, Carr, Menon, and thank you to Subcommittee Chair Riley and our own council member Abreu. In my previous testimony last week on the zoning items, I told you the owner of the property had never met with the community board, of which I am first vice chair. Only their architects and attorney have been present. It has been brought to our attention since the last public hearing that the owner of the building of Crosscat Holdings is in fact a subsidiary of Castellan Real Estate Partners. Castellan has a long history of tenant harassment and exploitation in our district and Upper Manhattan at large. They were subject to a state TPU-appointed monitor for 51 properties after being found to have harassed their tenants by calling in Spanish-speaking tenants and threatening them with eviction within 30 days if they did not provide passports or proof of citizenship and pay stubs for proof of income, even if they had been tenants in the apartments for years. They were one of the most litigious landlords in evicting their tenants and removing apartments from rent stabilization so they could flip the buildings, sometimes at double the price they paid. They continue to harass tenants in our community at 515 West 111th Street, filing baseless lawsuits every month against tenants who pay on time and cause no problems. This is not an as-of-right development. The council, if it grants these rezonings and special permits, are substantially increasing the value of this piece of land through discretionary action. Given all of the environmental problems that the landlord is promising to mitigate, from noise, vibration, exhaust, flooding, and soil contamination, why does the council have faith that a landlord that repeatedly has acted in bad faith over many decades would suddenly care about the comfort and safety of tenants if it gets a rezoning? We continue to urge the council to not support these applications for this project. If this building is built and a train derailment occurs, or there are serious environmental issues that make it uninhabitable, we do not want the residents subjected to that to ask who allowed this building to be built. Our community board has numerous more suitable sites for upzoning, including in our proposed Morningside Heights rezoning and at 1727 Amsterdam Avenue. We urge the council to partner with us to make these sites, which
Time
are
has
appropriate
expired.
for housing, a source of new affordable housing in our neighborhood, but through rezonings. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Weinberg. Next, we'll call on Basha Nikonoro. Basha, if you can hear me, please unmute and you may begin.
Starting time.
Hi. Hello, my name is Basha Nikonoro. I oppose this project because with so much climate science available to us, we should not be rezoning to build residential housing in short-sighted locations. Building in a proven flood zone is simply a bad investment because in the near future, this will become a stranded asset and any taxpayer monies will be wasted. Living, meanwhile, in such a location would subject the residents to severe health and safety risks and access concerns during extreme weather events. Our very own New York City panel on climate change, which is to guide and inform municipal decisions and policies, projects with high certainty that our city will experience increasingly frequent, severe, and longer-lasting extreme weather events, such that explicitly building a residence in a flood zone is a very short-term, nonsensical, and wasteful solution. Another reason to oppose this rezoning proposal is that it negatively impacts a neighborhood already subjected to deep environmental injustices. The proposed building would block cooling airflows off of the Hudson River. Airflows are especially needed in the surrounding community because it is categorized in the higher risk range on New York City's Heat Vulnerability Index, which is a metric intended to raise awareness and inform neighborhood-level policies and programs to protect people. Secondly, the proposed private building's roof bulkhead and Local Law 97 mandated infrastructure would totally obstruct the stunning viewpoint in the park's historic design, which is not protected as park areas further south of 125th Street are. I urge you to listen to the climate science from our very own New York City panel on climate change and the environmental justice and heat vulnerability indexes. Hear the community board's multiple votes in opposition to this residential project, and I encourage the owner to work with the community to develop a better plan for this site. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, I'm going to call on Gabrielle Ortiz. Gabrielle, if you can hear me, please unmute and you may begin.
Starting time.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
I am just testifying as a longtime community member of this area. I've lived here for 20 years. This very narrow site next to the Amtrak tracks is not suitable for housing. The noise, vibration, and pollution from the West Side Highway and Amtrak trains are unsafe and undesirable for residential living. The cantilever design demonstrates how small this site is. Squeezing a building into this small space feels forced and is ignorant of the needs the residents of the neighborhood, the residents of this neighborhood. The plans for this site are misleading. Drawings show the height of the proposed building level with the wall at Riverside Drive and 135th Street, where residents enjoy an unobstructed view of the Hudson River. But Riverside Drive slopes downhill going uptown toward 137th Street, where the width of this building extends. Therefore, the height of the building would extend above the height of the park and would obstruct the view from Riverside Drive from 135th Street to 138th Street. Rather than enjoying a view through the trees to the river, this building would block the view, impacting residents' enjoyment of the green space that makes Riverside Drive desirable and beautiful. This building would negatively impact the small amount of Riverside Park we actually enjoy in this neighborhood. With its proximity to the new Columbia campus, this site is more suitable for commercial use as it is zoned. A food hall and market, local business incubator, co-working space, community space, or performance space could easily be developed in this building where the existing infrastructure from the previous restaurants is already there. I am not against housing. We need more housing, and there are plenty of more appropriate sites in our neighborhood where housing with more suitable and healthy units could be built. I urge you to please say no to the rezoning of this project. Thank you for considering.
Thank you. And we have one more person with this panel. So I'm going to call on Catherine Lazur. Catherine, if you can hear me, please unmute and you may begin.
Starting time.
Hi, I've lived in this neighborhood since 1985. And when I first moved here, there was not much of a park at all in what we call Upper Riverside Park now, from 135th to like 145th. It was a lot of like the whole hillside between 135 and 138 that we see going from Riverside to 12th Avenue was simply just dirt. And I was there at the very beginning in 1997, volunteering with Jenny Benitez and many groups of volunteers to take an abandoned hillside full of, needles and crack paraphernalia and all kinds of garbage and you name it. And it took decades to clean up that area and make it what it is now, a verdant and beautiful part of the neighborhood. It's a huge asset and a very rare oasis in this area to have green space. We're very lucky to have it, and it would totally negatively impact that whole hillside. It would become shaded, and it would not have the feeling of being an open park. It would feel like there's a big development right in front of it. And yes, like Gabrielle Ortiz was saying, that rendering is misleading because the 8 stories would actually start if you actually walk on Riverside Park vis-a-vis the location that is proposed, the building, the rooftop as it is now, we can see. So we would see 8 stories above what we can already see. It would basically be a huge wall behind that area. And I have a river view. I'm very fortunate. And it would, it would be a huge obstruction as well in my apartment, as well as other residents, but not just for the residents who have views. Obviously, all the many, many people of West Harlem who walk by here and enjoy Riverside Park. And
Your time has expired.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any council members with questions for this panel? There being no questions for this panel, this witness panel is now excused. Council, are there any more members of the public who wish to testify on LUs 151 and 152?
No, Chair.
There being no other members of the public who wish to testify on LUs 151 through 152 regarding the special permit application related to the 135th Street rezoning proposal, the public hearing is now closed and the items are laid over. All right. The first proposal we are voting on today is to approve LUs 132 through 136 relating to the MSK Pavilion proposal in Councilmember Mendes District. The requested actions are to expand the existing hospital campus and construct a new building dedicated to surgeries. The proposal consists of 5 actions. The first is a zoning map amendment to change an existing residential R8 district to an RN residential district. The second action is to modify the provisions that govern large-scale community facility developments to extend to lot coverage and sign regulations. The third action is to seek a special permit for height and setback, lot coverage, and signage waivers. The fourth action seeks the approval of a revocable consent to build a sky bridge that will connect the proposed new building to the existing hospital facilities. The fifth action is to cancel a restrictive declaration that will no longer be applicable. Councilmember Menon supports this proposal, and I would just like to recognize Councilmember Menon to give any remarks regarding this proposal.
Thank you so much, Chair Riley. After long conversations and discussions with Memorial Sloan Kettering, with the community board, with the surrounding community, with PS 183, which is across the street, this cancer treatment and research institution will be able to rezone and build a new 31-story hospital known as the MSK Pavilion, with approximately 28 operating rooms and 206 patient beds on the east side of Manhattan at York Avenue between 66th and 67th Street. Since the subcommittee held their public hearing, a number of vital agreements have been reached to provide additional environmental and public health risk mitigation, including and I want to say many of these items actually exceed what the city, state, and federal laws and regulations require. So first of all, additional crossing guards during school drop-off and dismissal. Independent, real-time air quality monitoring, as MSK has agreed to underwrite the expense of a third-party environmental engineer for the adjacent elementary school, PS 183. Requiring all vehicles to be washed down as a precautionary dust mitigation measure, investing in a continuous 10-foot-high sound barrier to diminish construction noise, increasing the height of sidewalk scaffolding from 8 feet to 12 feet, reimbursing buildings determined to be affected for purchases of new AC units for individual apartments, as well as AC filters upon request to improve efficiency and lower energy costs. Replacing diesel-powered tower cranes with all-electric tower cranes to reduce both noise and emissions. Providing new air conditions and new air filters for PS 183. In addition to the environmental and public health risk mitigation measures which my office has negotiated, we have also negotiated upgrades to the following city-owned facilities, and they will be funded, including a new playground and schoolyard resurfacing for PS 183, replacement of the gymnasium flooring for PS 183, complete renovation of 24 Sycamores Playground, which will be reconstructed and will renovate both playgrounds as well as the basketball and handball courts. Renovations to East 72nd Street cul-de-sac to finally provide a green space that the community has been fighting so long for. So very proud to be able to announce that, as well as $500,000 for the PS 183 PTA. New York City needs and deserves cutting-edge, life-saving care to address the exploding and rising cancer crisis. And I thank Memorial Sloan Kettering for agreeing to not only meet, but to exceed the environmental requirements, to assure constituents with the confidence that they are doing everything possible to protect the health and well-being of New Yorkers and to limit the carbon footprint of this project. As part of the rezoning, Memorial Sloan Kettering has shown their commitment to the community by providing over $10 million towards vital construction mitigation measures and community investment that will revitalize outdoor space in what is one of the densest neighborhoods in Manhattan. By working with the applicant and the community, we are ensuring that this development aligns with the priorities of Manhattan Community Board 8, Memorial Sloan Kettering's Construction Working Group, PS 183, and area residents. I want to thank the City Council land use staff who've worked hard on this. I want to thank my team as well for their hard work, and I want to thank the chair for allowing me to speak, and I urge all members of the subcommittee to vote yes on this project. Thank you.
Thank you, Councilmember Menon. The second vote is to disapprove LU 155 relating to the application by Cozy Connor for a sidewalk cafe in Councilmember Holden's district in Maspeth, Queens. This subcommittee held a public hearing on September 17th, 2024, during which Councilmember Holden raised a number of concerns about the application. Councilmember Holden has provided the following statement explaining why this disapproval is warranted, which he has asked that I read into the record. Thank you, Chair Riley and members of the subcommittee, for the opportunity to address you regarding the application number D 245-0082809 SWQ Cozy Corner Bar, seeking a revocable consent to operate a sidewalk cafe at 60-01 70th Avenue in Ridgewood within Community District 5. I oppose this application because the combination of the sidewalk cafe and the outdoor dining is excessive. This sidewalk is a critical public pathway located in a heavily congested area, and private entities should not monopolize public space for profit, especially in such a heavily trafficked area. During the September 17th subcommittee hearing, the owner made light of the concerns I raised about fire trucks having trouble passing by, sanitation trucks being unable to complete their work, and the narrow streets making it difficult for vehicles to bypass. The lack of genuine concern, coupled with the owner's unwillingness to address these safety and accessibility issues by removing the outdoor dining setup, only compounded my opposition. Had the owner sincerely considered the community's safety and willingness to eliminate the roadway dining exacerbates the problem. The roadway dining that exacerbates the problem. I may have considered a different approach to this vote. Additionally, we have received complaints from residents, and the owner failed to provide evidence of community support for both the roadway dining and sidewalk cafe. Ridgewood is a heavily congested community with many pedestrians utilizing sidewalks and cars being parked. This establishment has shown disregard for both pedestrian and vehicular needs. Given these issues, I urge my colleagues to vote no on the sidewalk cafe application. The establishment has not demonstrated a genuine commitment to working with the community, and approving this application will set a concerning precedent. Thank you for considering my position on this matter. Moving to the third vote on today's schedule, which is to approve LU's 154 relating to the application by Ses Vecinos for a sidewalk cafe that we held a hearing for today. Ses Vecinos seeks to continue operating outside seating, and Chair Salamanca supports this proposal. The fourth vote is to approve LU 137 relating to 150 Mill Street rezoning proposal for a manufacturing and office development in Councilmember Avela's district. The proposed development site today consists primarily of one-story buildings along the edge of the Gowanus Industrial Business District. Applicant is proposing a multi-story building with industrial uses of the use on the first two floors and office space above. The proposal consists of one action, a rezoning from a manufacturing M1-1 district to an M1-5 district. Although M1-5 is also a manufacturing district, its building form allows for more office space. Councilmember Avelis would like to explain. Councilmember Avelis, I would like to give you the floor to explain your position. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chair. So this project has been long in the making, with conversations predating my tenure at the New York City Council and starting up once again as I took office. I don't know why I'm getting this feedback. Is that okay? I don't want to hurt anyone's eardrums. Okay. I noted at the time to the applicant that preserving our industrial business zones is of critical importance to me. And throughout this period, this council and the city has been working to strengthen the protections of these industrial business zones to ensure economic opportunities are preserved for working people throughout New York City. Unfortunately, it took the applicant until the 11th hour to get this point and to understand our stated policy objectives were real. Nevertheless, given these peculiarities of the property, the applicant, with new commitment of allocating approximately 25% to light industrial manufacturing, a reduced height to 6 stories, and commitments to allocate space for community use, I feel this project more closely reflects the development objectives we have set forth for our community. I look forward to DCP solidifying zoning requirements that further protect and enhance our IBZs as promised through the City of Yes negotiations, so that council members will have more tools at their disposal in these types of negotiations. And in the interim, expect similar developments to meet expectations set forth in our land use proposals, and certainly by our city, that industrial manufacturing land is important to protect and preserve. With the expectation that the applicant will be a good and responsible and responsive neighbor during construction and meet its stated commitments, I'm supportive of this project. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councilmember Villas. The fifth and final vote is to approve pre-considered land use applications regarding the 2390 McDonald Avenue rezoning proposal in Councilmember Yeager's district. The proposal seeks to develop a residential mixed-use building with approximately 80 units. The proposal involves 2 actions. The first action is to rezone the commercial C8-1 district to a C4-4L district, which allows both commercial and residential uses. The second action is a zoning text amendment to map mandatory inclusionary housing over the rezoned area, which will result in approximately 20 to 24 permanently affordable units. Councilmember Yeager supports this proposal. Councilmember, are there any council members with questions or remarks at this time?
No.
I now call for a vote to approve LUs 132, 133, 134, 135, and 136 relating to the MSK Pavilion proposal, to disapprove LUs 155 relating to Cozy Corners application for a sidewalk cafe, to approve LUs 154 relating to the Seis Vecinos application for a sidewalk cafe, to approve LU 137 relating to the 150 Mill Street rezoning proposal, and to approve pre-considered LUs relating to 2390 McDonald Avenue rezoning proposal. Council, please call the roll.
Chair Riley,
Aye.
Councilmember Moya,
I vote aye.
Councilmember Abreu,
Aye. Aye.
Councilmember Hanks,
I vote aye.
Councilmember Shulman.
Permission to explain my vote?
Permission granted.
Thank you. I just want to say that as chair of the Health Committee and as a breast cancer survivor, I think it's very important for MSK to be able to add operating rooms in a city where the cancer rates are pretty high, especially with cancers that are now like very specific in terms of rare cancers, and they do a wonderful job with that. I also want to say that based on the testimony when I was here the last time, the mechanicals, people think that because it's a big building that they have all the space. They don't. There's mechanical space there. As somebody who worked in a city hospital prior to becoming a council member, I can tell you that there are big entities that have space that they cannot use. That are totally unusable, I should say. So with that, I'm very proud to vote for this. And I also want to say that I did hear the community and some of the issues that they brought up, and I'm very confident that Councilmember Menon, first of all, she got a lot of give backs, and that was great, and she's got a lot of stuff for the community, but she also is someone who will hold MSK responsible in terms of the process along the way of the construction and everything else. And so with that, I vote aye.
Thank you, Councilmember Shulman.
Councilmember Carr,
Aye on all.
by a vote of 6 in the affirmative, 0 opposing, and 0 abstention, the items are approved as described by the chair, and all items are referred to the full land use committee.
Thank you, Council. That concludes today's business. I would like to thank the members of the public, my colleagues, subcommittee council, land use, and other council staff, and the Sergeant at Arms participating in today's meeting. This meeting is hereby adjourned. Thank you.